what for me, honoring the body is to allow the Spirit of God to dwell within this God-given tangible flesh. So honoring the body allows the Spirit to indwell, to guide, to partner with, to lead into truth, to lead into abundance of life. This very fleshy, feely, clammy, tangible gift that God has given us. It was not until I was asked to serve communion one Sunday that I was confronted in a very transformative way with my homophobia. I would greet people in the narthex, shake their hands, and before going into the sanctuary, I go wash my hands. And no one knew, but I was washing off the stain of touching a lesbian or gay person. Until that Sunday, I was asked to serve communion. I went into the bathroom, then rushed into the sanctuary, took my place, and went up to give communion. And I had got into this ritual of looking into the eyes of the individual as I gave the bread or gave the passed the wine, and through intinction. And this time I was breaking the bread and pressing it into the palms of the person's hands. And I looked up into the eyes of this man who had full-blown AIDS, and I said, "The body of Christ broken for you." And at that moment, God said to me, "Would you deny me?" And I got through the words, "The body of Christ broken for you," but as I moved to the next persons in that semicircle, I was weeping because I was so busted as well as convicted. And it really gave me pause, and I started to think about how I had been, a hypocrite, how I had been a phony with my practices of being homophobic. And it was at that moment that I began to transition out through not only the way I thought about people I was in relationship with, and also persons that I had worked with there in the church, and how I would embrace all God's people, regardless of their present circumstance, regardless of how they were created. They were created by God, and that was the most important thing. I never thought that I would not fear death, and that was not an issue at the time. Can you imagine a 220-pound man going down to about 130, and he was 5'3½", and although his appearance was unfamiliar to me, that is in terms of what I grew up with, and all the pictures I had and everything, caring for him put aside all those fears that I had presupposed that I would have about someone who was making transition from death into life. And it's interesting I said that like that, but nonetheless, I didn't feel, I wasn't afraid to touch him. I wasn't afraid. I was embarrassed to wash his body, because a daughter doesn't wash a grown father's body where he has personal parts. And I mean, although he's washed my body when I was a baby or a young child, but that's just a no-no. But I moved beyond that with a little urging from family members. If you don't do this, we are. And I was not going to let someone care for his body at that point. I had to just put all that aside. So fear and this traditional shame that kind of comes with it, you don't do that. When I remembered his liveliness and how much he enjoyed life, and he was in the room that he would always dress in on Sunday mornings. I mean, my dad had spit shine shoes. I mean, they shined, and Stacey Adams black shoes, and he had his shirt and his selection of ties that he was going to get ready to wear to church and whatever suit that he was going to wear. So it was at that point that I realized that his life and what he, and what he enjoyed doing and was dressing up particularly for church. And that was kind of the connecting point that said, okay, get on with it. And it was so interesting that after I finished bathing his body and then powdering him down and putting on clean undergarments, he relaxed. And it was probably within 15 minutes after that he made the transition. So that's what I thought. Well, and then my sister-in-law said, Pop just wanted to be clean. I said, yeah, he was always a sharp dresser.